So like I mentioned in my last video, I went through a child support case. And in this video, I'm going to talk about 7 things that you should not do while going through a child support case. Hey guys, welcome to my channel, K Fits My Life. So in this video, I'm going to talk about 7 things that I went through in my child support case. I'm not saying these things are indicative of every case, but things that I did or didn't do that hopefully will save somebody else if they go through the situation. All right. So number 1, and one of the most important ones is, and this may seem like common sense, do not go into court without an attorney. Now I know that sounds like common sense, but again, as I mentioned in my channel, my upbringing as a Jehovah's Witness, I didn't really know anything about much of anything. I was a very naive adult because I just never was taught anything about how the world actually worked. So I thought that I would just go into court and I would be completely honest and everything would be okay because I'm being honest. And that is exactly what did not happen. It was almost like the more honest I was, the worse things got. Okay, so that's going to lead into number 2. But again, number 1, do not go into court without an attorney. Even if you can't afford it, try to get the case pushed out until you can save up money for an attorney. And that's one of the reasons why I'm saying this point, because I know some people just may not have the money for an attorney. And they feel like, okay, I can go into court. I'll just be honest. I'll be upfront and everything will be okay. It may not work out that way. All right. So that leads into number 2, which is tell the truth, but don't be too honest. And I know that sounds like a messed up thing to say, but what I mean by that is, if you're asked a question, of course, tell the truth. But what happened to me was I started to volunteer information that I thought would actually help my case, but it actually hurt my case. And with me not being an attorney, there were things that I disclosed that I shouldn't have disclosed. But again, with me being raised as a Jehovah's Witness, not knowing the world, your basic programming is just tell the truth and everything is going to be okay. And that's just not how it works in court. There are some things that you are supposed to say, and there are some things that your attorney would advise you not to say. And since I didn't have an attorney and she did, she was able to say a lot of things that helped her case, and my things that I was saying hurt my case. So if you have an attorney, that should alleviate that problem. But if you don't and you go to court, you're going to have to research what things that you should say. You shouldn't be disclosing too much personal information. You need to just answer questions. You don't need to start disclosing more than what you need to disclose. And again, having an attorney will help with that. So if you ask a question, tell the truth, but don't go in there just talking, and just mouthing a whole bunch of information about yourself, because 9 times out of 10, you're going to say something that is going to hurt your case. All right. The next thing, don't pay in cash ever. I don't care if you don't have a child support case and you think you and the mother of your children or child have a great relationship and she would never screw you over. Don't pay in cash ever, because when things go south, people change. And you guys may have a great relationship, but if things go south, things are going to change. And what killed me was I felt like me and my daughter's mother had a really good relationship, but when we got into the courtroom and she had her attorney, everything changed. And all the money that I gave without a money order was not even counted. She was just able to say, I don't recall ever getting that money. even though I gave her money all the time, literally every month. there was not a month that didn't go by that I didn't give money. But since I didn't have a record of it, the only monies that were credited to me were the monies that when I would go to Louisiana and teach and choreograph, I would always have to send a money order back because I was gone for the entire month. So every time that month happened, I would always send a money order. So I had a record of that money. So she couldn't say that I didn't send that, but she was able to say, I don't recall getting anything other than that money. And I didn't have any proof that I actually did. So that hurt me, that hurt my case. And I'd heard that before, but I always thought, that's never gonna happen to me. It could happen to you. It could happen to you. So do not give cash. Always give it a check or a money order. And again, I know this might sound like common sense, but we have to remember not everybody knows about divorces and child support in court. And I'm not saying this to say that all women are bad, because this could go both ways. But what I am saying is, at the end of the day, you have to protect yourself out here in the world, because when things go bad, nobody's going to give you credit for the good stuff. Most of the time, people are just going to remember the bad things or the things that make them mad about you. So you have to protect yourself, right? So do not give cash ever. Another thing, the next thing is, if you have a meeting for mediation, you need an attorney there too. Now, I didn't know what mediation was. I didn't know what it was in real life. I know what I thought it meant. And what I thought it meant was that we would go down to the child support office, and there would be someone that worked for the state that was an impartial person that would listen to both of our stories and come to some mid ground, like a mediator. That is not what it was. What it really was a meeting that I should have had an attorney, my attorney, and she would have had her attorney, and they would have talked. I didn't know that. I thought it was just going to be somebody from the state there as an intermediary between me and my ex. And that's not what happened. So when I went there, she was there with her attorney. I didn't have one. And I thought that the person that was there was an impartial mediary, an impartial person that would just listen to both sides. And what I found out soon after I got there was that this person was her attorney. And I was wondering, why is this impartial person being so aggressive and flat out mean to me? And then the more they talked, I was like, wait a minute, this is her attorney. And by the time I figured that out, it was already too late. I'd already started talking to this person, giving this person information, and I had basically dug a hole for myself at that point. So if you have a meeting for a mediation, there's not going to be an impartial person there. It wasn't in my experience. That is a meeting that you need to have your attorney there so that those two attorneys can talk and you guys just basically sit there and listen. Because if you go in there without one, it's going to end up bad. It's going to go badly for you. All right. So don't go into a mediation thinking you're just going to have somebody there that's going to listen to you and listen to them and not take sides. That's not what happened to me. And I don't think that's how it works. All right. So that's that. The next one is, don't lose your temper in court. This one is very difficult because you're going to hear things said about you that may not be true. You may hear things that may be true, but may be told in a way just to specifically make you look bad. They're not telling the entire story. You may not be listened to very well, especially if you don't have an attorney. They're not going to listen to you. They're not going to be there to help you, especially if you're a man. We all know that child support is slanted toward the female in those cases. And again, myself and several other guys that I know have been railroaded in child support court. And it's really sad that these things happen, because like I said, I'm making this video for the men who actually want to have a role in their kids' lives, and they want to be have an amicable relationship with their child's mother, even though they're not together anymore. I'm not talking about the people who have a kid and then run away and don't ever speak to the kid again. That's not what this video is for. That's not the type of person I am. That's not the type of people I associate with. I'm talking about the guys that I know, including myself, who have really been railroaded and have been put in a really, really bad situation because no one was there to really listen to or help them. Like in my instance, I ended up losing everything because of child support. So when I was in court, I was so frustrated that no one was listening to me. No one was trying to help me. One, because I didn't have an attorney, and two, because I literally just didn't know what to do. I didn't know to go get an attorney. I didn't know to go and do research on what to do in this situation because I was just so, sheltered the whole time. I just honestly didn't know. And I know it sounds like a bunch of BS, but it's just the truth. I didn't know. So when I was in court, I was pleading to the judge. The judge wasn't listening. I was talking to the attorney that was her attorney, and she was just being aggressive. I just started yelling, raising my voice. I was literally screaming at the top of my lungs to the judge, telling him, look, I'm being honest. I'm trying to help the whole situation. I just want to end fairly, but nobody's listening and nobody's helping me, and no one cares. And it was quiet after I did that, but it didn't matter because I just didn't have proper representation and I didn't know the process. So me losing my temper in court did not help my case at all. If anything, it hurt my case. So I know that we probably, when you're in that situation as men, you definitely want to get your point across. You want to be heard, but losing your temper is not the way to do it. So go into court expecting that you're going to hear some things that are going to upset you, but you're just going to have to remain calm anyway and listen, right? All right, so the next thing goes back to one of the other ones about not paying in cash. And this one is you need to keep all receipts. And I know it sounds like a pain in the butt, but had I kept all my receipts for everything that I purchased, everything that I'd done, all the money I sent, there would have been no dispute about how much I had been given financially to the situation. And since I didn't have receipts, a lot of the things that I did went, they didn't count because I didn't have proof of anything. All right, so that's a really short one. Just keep all receipts that relate to your case, your child, your children, whatever. Keep all receipts. And the last one, and probably the most important out of all of them, is do not fight with your daughter or your child's mother in front of your kids. Do not do that. Not simply just for the case itself, but you don't want, divorce is hard enough on kids without the kids having to see their parents fighting all the time. And I didn't want my daughter to see us fighting a lot. So I really tried to be civil and have a good relationship with her mom. That's one reason. The second reason is your kids don't forget anything. They see what happens and they see how you behave, and you don't want them to grow up and resent you because they saw you being an asshole to their mother. Whether you guys are getting along or not, that child is still you guys' child, and the child deserves to have as much of an amicable relationship between you two as possible. You don't want your child to grow up and say, I remember how you used to treat mom. I remember how y'all used to act. I remember how you used to fight all the time. Because I know for a fact there are memories that I have, that I'm sure my daughter has, that I wish I would not have done what I did to create that memory in her brain. And you just don't want the situation to get to a point where you guys are just fighting all the time, because that's going to hurt your kid, and it's also going to make you look extremely bad if you're unable to control yourself enough to, at the very least, be to have an amicable relationship while your child is present. Just don't do that. It's just really, really bad business all the way around for your relationship between you and your ex, and for you and your kid. All right, so don't fight in front of your kids. That's just the worst thing you can do. All right, so I didn't want this video to be too long, but I hope that this video helps somebody that may be going through this situation. So again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support. If you found this video useful, please like, share, subscribe, and I will see you all on the next one. All right, peace.